Hi, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to discuss 5 ways to decide which company should I purchase from for my bubble tea supplies. Well, the answer's not quite that easy, and there's no one-size-fits-all in this scenario. So I've created this video just for you, to help you decide using 5 different ways of which bubble tea supplier is best for you. So to begin, the quality of the product. Request a box of samples. Nobody can make a decision based off of a website. Some companies will allow you to have this box of samples for free, and others might charge you for it and/or charge for shipping as well. This one thing right here is such an important part of your journey. Your initial investment into your supplies will probably be a lot of money, and you want to make sure that you're 100% satisfied before you make this large purchase. Do side-by-side comparisons of all the contenders. Once all of the samples boxes have arrived, put everything together with a very basic recipe, you can use mine if you wish, and line them up and do side-by-side comparisons. Taste test with friends and family, and make sure that you're comparing like for like. So a green apple fruit tea and a green apple fruit tea, a strawberry milk and a strawberry milk. Does the company have certificates to verify the quality and ingredients of the products that they're selling? Even better if they have certificates through a third party that's non-biased. If you're selling to a particular group of customers, and let's say they have requirements like halal, you want to make sure that the company that you're purchasing from either supplies those products or they can offer you some sort of certificate for those supplies. Does the company that you're considering purchasing from actually inspect the factory in Taiwan personally? Or do they have a third party that does it? Who is being held accountable for the factory quality control? Number 2 on my list is customer service. Perhaps try calling them for a simple question or schedule a consultation call. This will give you an idea of how they handle their customers, do they speak your language really well, and how do you get on with that customer service rep. You might actually feel that the call was unsuccessful and perhaps miscommunication will occur in the future. When you emailed them for that samples box, how quickly was their reply? And what was their overall tone with you? Did they seem interested to work with you, or did you feel like you were burdening their time? With whatever company you decide to go with, in the future, if one of your products arrives damaged, how are they going to take care of that situation? It's best to gauge early on how situations like these are handled and what their customer service is like. Number 3 is variety of the same ingredient. Now hear me out for a second because this might seem a little confusing, but let's take juice balls for example. If you are wanting to supply strawberry juice balls, right, the popping pearls, it would be nice if you had a variety to choose from as opposed to just one brand that the supplier has. Perhaps they can offer a price range of that product, so a lesser expensive juice ball or a more premium juice ball. Perhaps they offer a sweet strawberry juice ball or more of a tangy strawberry juice ball. Although a lot of suppliers of bubble tea supplies don't do this, there are a lot on the market that do. And it is nice to be able to have that option of variety. This also pertains to powders and syrups. Take blueberry powder, for example. If you're gonna be doing more of a blueberry milk tea sort of thing, you might want it to be more of a creamy blueberry sort of flavor, something quite sweet. Whereas if you're mixing it with mango, you want a brighter blueberry flavor. So being able to have a variety of products within a particular range means that you can be more creative in the future with drink experimentation and creation. Whereas if that supplier only offers one flavor in that category, then you're very limited, and it might mean in the future that you have to purchase from more than one supplier. Which is fine, of course, but sometimes it makes it easier if you can get everything just from one supplier. This also applies for teas. Types of teas, price ranges of the teas, tapioca pearls, styles, sizes, you get the idea. So if you are able to find a supplier that offers a variety of that same base ingredient, that's a plus. Why spend time coming up with recipes for your business when I've already done all of the hard work for you? Head over to my website for all of my tried and tested customer favorites. I'll be sure to leave a link below in the description to my website for more details. Next is, what is the ordering procedure? How much of each product do you need to buy at a time? Can it be one? Does it have to be 4, 5, or 6 or more? What is the MOQ of your initial order? MOQ means minimum order quantity. So not only knowing what it is for your initial order, but then subsequent orders thereafter. At what amount do you start qualifying for discounts, if any at all? How long will it take for an order that you've placed to first be processed and then be shipped? A day? A week? A month? So let's say, for example, you're running out of creamer powder because the staff member messed up the inventory sheet and you go to rush to place through an order. When will that order arrive? And maybe they offer an expedited emergency shipping option. How much is it? But of course, just for your normal order and processing and shipping, of course, you need to know the time frame for that as well. Will the items that you purchase be sent in boxes via the post office, or will they be sent on a pallet via a truck? If they will be sent on a pallet, then why and which items? This may or may not be the more expensive or cheaper option. This is an important thing to realize in order to keep your shipping costs lower over time. If certain items have to be shipped on a pallet, so let's say for example juice balls, then you will know in the future, okay, I'm only going to order juice balls X amount of times a year because I know that the pallet is more expensive, so I need to make sure that I have enough of those in stock. But if you find out that actually shipping things via pallet is cheaper than boxes in the post, perhaps you might then consider, I'm going to place orders less frequent, but in a larger quantity. And then only if I need to top up on certain things like powders and whatnot, then I will buy those and have them shipped via box. So not only understanding how much the shipping charges are, of course, but how things will be shipped is super important. Also, not only how they will be shipped to you, but how they will physically arrive to your doorstep. Will the carrier be able to put it inside your shop? Will it be left outside your shop? Are they available all day for time slots? Is it only a particular time slot? Will you just not know when things are gonna arrive? One time I had a shipment arrive a block away down the alley, and my staff had to get the wheelie cart and wheel everything to the shop. That took up a lot of time and energy and pay, of course. So just knowing these things in advance is super important, and they may or may not be deal breakers for you. Just some things to think about. All right, and moving on to number 5, the location of the warehouses. And just to clarify, a factory is usually in a different country, let's say for example Taiwan, that's where the products are created. The warehouse is where it is stored, so it's usually shipped from Taiwan to a warehouse in then America or the UK or Europe. So although the point of origin might not be of concern to you, the warehouse where it's located should. So let's say, for example, you're in America and you're on the East Coast and the warehouse that you're purchasing from is on the West Coast. It could take 2 to 3 times longer or more for that shipment to arrive to your shop. Those supplies will now have a shorter shelf life, in theory, and perhaps the shipping charges will be much higher. So I do believe that finding a warehouse within your region is really important. And if you do decide you want to import from Taiwan, and let's say you're in the EU, for example, well, the EU recently had a ban on products that were being imported with dairy origins. What would you have done if your products arrived in the port and you couldn't import them? You didn't know, but if you find a supplier that is in your country or your region, then it wouldn't have been an issue because that supplier in the EU would have already known about that and they would have done everything it took in order to get those supplies out of the port and into the warehouse. Hopefully that company will already have experience with the ever-changing import issues that seem to be changing on a monthly basis. And if you do decide that you really truly want to buy from Taiwan, whether it be cups, seals, or actual food supplies, then you will be encountering some of the following: customs, customs fees, ports, port fees, navigating the system, having all of the paperwork, arranging transportation, and surely additional costs. So my advice on that would be to find an agent who acts as a middleman and knows how to navigate the system really, really well. Look, just make sure that you're aware of these things before you fall for the illusion of cheaper prices importing from a different country. I happily spent money on a full tour of Taiwan. Tea plantations, bubble tea factories. It was an amazing experience, including visiting the birthplace of bubble tea itself. I definitely recommend it. It's a fun trip, but I get it. Not everyone can afford this luxury of paying homage to bubble tea. So let me share with you from my experience just some closing thoughts. The road to importing bubble tea supplies is time-consuming, expensive, and difficult to navigate. Save yourself the hassle in the first few beginning years of you owning your shop and simply buy from a local supplier that's reputable, one that you trust, and in going through this list of 5 things, one that you feel that qualifies for the amazingness of your future bubble tea shop. You've got so many other things on your mind right now, I'm sure, and this really shouldn't be one of them. So put together your Excel spreadsheet to help keep all of your thoughts in flow, do your side-by-side comparisons and all of your research, and just make the best educated decision that you possibly can right now on your bubble tea journey to success. Well, I've covered a ton in this video, but please feel free to drop a comment below with any ideas that you have from your experience. We're a community here on my YouTube channel, and that's one reason why I really like having you as a viewer. So thanks so much for tuning in today, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.